is your little creation out here. Tell me about that.
Well, I know what you mean when you say my little creation, but I definitely feel that obviously, and I know you know this, but certainly this is God's creation, and I see myself as a steward, a land steward, and a cultural worker. And so I was actually blessed to come across this property. And the story behind that was creating a vision of what I wanted to be doing in 5 years. And I created a vision board. I was still living in California at that time. And part of the vision was I wanted to move to the Southeast. I wanted to buy land and build an institution. And God be my witness, in 5 years.
1, 2, 3. It happened.
It happened.
All right.
Absolutely. Found the land and a fixer-upper house, and for the first 5 years, we spent most of our time rehabilitating the house. And then slowly we began to develop and become incorporated as a nonprofit organization, which became Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace.
You're living out here in the country, and you're just attracting all kind of people to come out here and join you. What's going on tonight out here?
Well, we have big plans for a very successful event that is actually a part of a larger program. It's not going to be an isolated event. And what the program is about, it's an educational program, an informational program to enlighten, encourage, and help people to remember the value of the natural world in which we live. We live in Tuskegee, Alabama, a historical place known for many things, but in particular for George Washington Carver. So part of our event is in honor of our ancestor, George Washington Carver, who is an internationally renowned researcher, scientist, agriculturalist, and artist. We want to remember him because, in particular, as it relates to Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace, which is the name that we borrowed from his bulletin that he wrote in 1942. He wrote a bulletin entitled Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. I had moved to Tuskegee in 2001, and I went to the museum, the Carver Museum, and I'd had a long history of social activism, and I came across this bulletin. And when I saw the bulletin, I fell in love with the name.
Oh, wow. How about that?
I fell in love with the name, and I had already made the intentions that one day I was going to buy land and build an institution, and I declared on that day that I would name it in honor of George Washington Carver.
Now, the oldest among us, we are used to what happens out in the country and what you can do with farming, what trees mean to us. How the young people adjusted and adapting to it?
Yeah, I think there are different streams of young people, I say streams or different schools, just as there are with adults and older people as well. We do see in a lot of the, maybe more so in some of the urban areas, because in the urban areas there's a lot less of the natural world, and I think maybe the people who live in the rural areas are surrounded by, the beautiful trees and the soil all the time. And many of them still have some memory of their grandparents. So you see a lot of, in the urban areas, a renewal of what they call urban gardening. But we definitely want to reach the next generation. That's most important. Because I intend to pass the baton. And I won't have anybody to pass it to if we don't speak directly to that population.
Absolutely. Now, what inspired that outdoor spirit in you?
I think it was maybe just a part of my makeup. I can't really think of any other reason, but ever since I was a child, I was born in Detroit, but my people were from Alabama. But but I lived in Detroit, up until I was about 30 years old. So I grew up in a big city, but I always had this kind of amazing awe for looking up into the sky and observing, the stars and the moon. And I was already asking sort of these existential questions about, what is this? Who am I in relationship? And I loved sitting at the water, next to the water, going to the beaches, and I love the mountains. So it was just sort of something very intrinsic. My mother always had a garden.
All right, well, let's kick it off here and see what you got going.
Okay.
All right.
My name is Ipapamila, commonly known as Ama, Mama Ama, Sister Ma, Grandma. That's a lot of Ma's, right? Okay, we would like to open with prayer, as is in our tradition. And you can call on whoever you call on to center yourself. Let's start with 3 deep cleansing breaths, if we can. Inhaling in, exhale, inhale again, exhale, last one, inhale, exhale. Bring us here to the here and now, going into our prayer. We give thanks, Divine Creator, by whatever name you call Creator, for our traditions, for this land, for the keeper of the land, for the keeper of traditions, for all who journeyed here for the learning, for the elders, for the ancestors on whose shoulders we stand, for the elders who've helped us to remember, for the youth who inspire us to keep going. We are so grateful. To Mama Muja for holding space, and all who support her in holding the space. We just give thanks for being here. This sacred, special place, Tuskegee, Alabama. There's a lot of power in this soil, a lot of power in this land space, a lot of love in our tradition. For this and more than words could ever say, we are eternally grateful. I say in my tradition, Oburu, Oboye, Oboshishe. Amen, Ashe.
Good afternoon, family.
Good afternoon.
I am Norma McGowan Jackson, also known as Iyabode. Jaquetta and I are going to lead us in an ancient ritual of remembrance. As the sister said in her opening invocation, we are on holy ground, we are on sacred ground, and we give thanks for that. And in the tradition of our people, we pour libation to remember those upon whose shoulders we stand. We pour libations to honor those whose footsteps we walk in. We pour libation to invoke the power and the presence of those that walk with us. I begin this libation by invoking the creator of the universes, the creator who gave life to all that is, known by many, many names. But we pause now to give thanks to the creator of the universe, and we say, Ashe. I want to remember those first people people who looked like us, who populated this earth space, who gave birth to civilizations, who came that we might have life. We honor those first peoples, those who gave us everything that we know in terms of civilization, sciences and mathematics and architecture and culinary arts and all of those things that we consider the works of civilized people. Our ancestors were the first to do that. We remember them and we say Ashe. I want to remember the one that we honor today, the work and the spirit of Dr. George Washington Carver. The work that he did in this sacred place has impacted people around the world. And we remember that he walked so closely with the Creator that the very plants spoke to him. We want to honor that legacy. We want to honor that today. So we pour libation to the spirit of Dr. George Washington Carver. And before I pass on to Reverend Jaquetta, I want us to honor someone that some of you may have known, but who also walked in that tradition. Dr. Kwaku Andau, who was a wonderful botanist, a wonderful healer, a wonderful person who lived amongst us and some of us knew, who has gone to be with the ancestors. So we honor Kwaku Andau.
We also would like to honor one that we knew, who was part of our community, who has recently become an ancestor. Some of you know of him. Some of you have worked with him. Some of you were coached by him. So we'd like to honor Larry King. We want to honor all those who lost their lives, gave their lives, took the children's lives so they would not have to go into the Great Ma'afa. All those who crossed the Middle Passage, some who were fed to the sharks because they would not cross the passage. They would not make it across the passage. To them, we pour libation. We pour libation to all those who got across the Middle Passage, got into the, quote, Americas, unquote, were brutalized, were violated, were raped, were plundered personally, whose very religions, whose languages, whose clothing, everything they believed, everything they were was undermined. Some of them survived, some of them did not. To them, we pour libation. We pour libation to all those who made it through the Great Ma'afa, who actually survived to get to the other side, who actually were able to proclaim one day, I am free. My children are free. They will be born and raised in freedom. To them, we pour libation. We pour libation to all those who made it through the Reconstruction, who made it through the Civil Rights Movement, who struggled and fought, were imprisoned. To them, we pour libation. We pour libation to all those who are still fighting the battle. We're still working to be free, still being killed, still being brutalized, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, still we stand. And still, spiritually, we are free. So to us, we pour libation. Call the names of those you want to remember, those whose shoulders you know you're standing on. Feel free to call their names.
And while you're doing that, think of your grandmothers, your great-grandmothers that went out into the woods and came back with something that would make you better. Think about all of those bush women and those women who knew how to figure out just what plant they needed to pick in order to heal you. Those are the ones we want to remember today and celebrate. Ashe?
Call their names. Grandma Laura. Grandma Ida.
Flies the wind.
Great-grandfather
Shirley
DeVoe.
Tillman.
Grandma Flora.
This is for your participation as well.
Mary May Magruder.
Ashe. Ashe.
Rachel Hill Magruder.
Ashe.
Everyone say Ashe. It's an energetic word.
Ashe.
We're calling our ancestors. Act like it.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Devetta Wilson.
Ashe.
Lena Gray.
Ashe.
Ethel Turner.
Ashe.
Mary Brown.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Annette Norfleet.
Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Bertha
Mama
Gilbert.
City.
Ashe.
Great-grandmother DeVoe.
Ashe.
Rachel Cross.
Mary McCall.
Carver.
Ashe.
Dr. Washington. Booker T. Washington.
Ashe.
Olivia Davidson.
Ashe. Charles Magruder Sr. Ashe.
Margaret Murray.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Lenora Boone.
Ashe. Margaret Charles Smith.
Ashe.
Naomi Pettigrew.
Ashe.
Gwen Ifill.
Ashe.
Harriet Tubman.
Ashe.
Dorothy Davis.
Ashe.
Carter G. Woodson.
Ashe.
Bob Marley.
Ashe.
Cicely Tyson.
Ashe.
Maya Angelou.
Ashe.
Francis Cress Welsing.
Ashe.
Tavia Butler.
Ashe. Cicely Tyson.
Ashe. Ashe.
And to all those who are coming after us, those yet unborn, those who are barely born, who will stand on our shoulders, the ones we're preparing the way for. To them we pour libation. Ashe. Ashe. Ashe.
I want to thank my beloved sisters for always answering the call, you know? Isn't that wonderful? When you have people that you can call. And they did a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, you know, like, this is ceremony, right? And I just want to remind you that when we do ceremony, you are to participate with all of your heart, your mind, and your spirit, okay? That's the purpose of it. I mean, oftentimes people will get down on their knees and touch the ground as we pour those libations because we're calling our ancestors. Don't we need our ancestors to support us in this work? Certainly we do. Certainly we do. We don't worship our ancestors, we remember them because we are them and they are us. Every time a child is born, an ancestor is returning. So we are here at Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. We want to officially welcome you to this space. As was said, it is sacred space. It's sacred for reasons that we may not be fully aware of, but it's especially sacred because we have declared it to be so. And we walk on this land with great reverence and with great hope, with great anticipation that we will create something that will be useful, something that will be beautiful, something that others will want to emulate or replicate. We are a community, a healing, holistic community development initiative that will include residential living. It will include the arts, trades, education, science, so we say holistic, so it's going to include everything that you all can bring to the table in terms of your gifts, your God-given gifts, your dreams, your aspirations, the things that you want to create. We want to do that together here at Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. So I don't see Lindsay Lunsford in the audience. She was to do a poem, and maybe she's still going to come. But we always have talented people amongst us, isn't that right? So I'm going to invite another very dynamic sister up to the stage. And as she's coming, I'll just tell you just a teeny bit about her. She's awesome. She's multi-talented. She's energized. She loves our people. We've been working together really a very short time. But in that short time, I've come to respect her tremendously. And I've claimed a lot of daughters out here. I see several of them sitting back there, but this is my most recent daughter. Let's welcome Tanur Ali.
Peace, everybody. I'm gonna make this quick, I think. I'll tell y'all the piece that's been playing in my mind all day. And I wrote it sitting next to the stream on the land that I got from my dad. And yeah, it feels like it just fits right after libation. So can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
I came out from the mouths of babes, grew up like a tree in between the graves, got warm about the ones from the caves and the ones getting saved. I was South Philly born, but I was MGT raised. I was raised. Left the hood for the farm, wear a hood to keep warm, wear a hood to keep from harm, and they removed their hoods, would you believe? So I ripped off my sleeve, put my heart on my arm, and when I lift it, I feel it. All the weight bestowed by the grace rests on these shoulders like there's no time to waste, like there's no time for fear. Just ask the question, hold back the tears. Who am I? Why am I here? My mama told me use my own voice. I looked up, didn't have any choice. All I can hear are the voices of old. Could you imagine trying to carry all of that gold? Trying to be that bold, trying to hold and not fold, but this isn't my day. I'm all but a wreck, everything but a speck in this universe that coils with this blood that just boils, and I'm reaping the spoils of accidental ornaments on trees whose purpose wasn't meant to strangle, but whose purpose just got tangled with rope and loosened with nooses. On a white woman's whim or a black man's schism, it was you. You killed him, but it was me. I birthed him into being in a world that was seeing. In a world I was seeing, didn't believe he could ever be free. I earthed him and birthed him, and as his daughter I cursed him, wished him back into living, then prayed and gave thanks, and it was thanks I was given, and in my haste I was given a burden to bear. I know why I'm here. Who am I kidding? My purpose is written. I mean writing. I'm tripping. I'm falling. I'm calling for help, but I'm stalling at a butterfly sanctuary. See, all I'm looking for is a little sanctuary, and the angst is scary. If you build it, they'll come. But if the ish hits the fan, they might help some. And where am I from but the mouths of babes? And who am I but the dream of the slaves, or the memories even? Gratitude fills the air. Breathe in hope. Breathe out fear. Inhale life. Exhale strife. It's not easy always, but we still are here.
All right, let's give her another hand. Tanur, thank you. That was wonderful, very inspiring. You spoke truth in that poem. All right, next we want to bring up a brother, a son. This is El Rico Ramon, who I also met recently through Kwame Sunhorse, another one of our community members who lives in Georgia. But we have something called the Overground Railroad that we're working on putting together. And the Overground Railroad is not the Underground Railroad, but it's like the Underground Railroad in that we are identifying sacred, safe places. We call them oases, which stands for our ancestors' spirits in service. So this place is an oasis. It's evolving into an oasis space. It will be an oasis as those of you come and help us to manifest that. But there are many other land spaces around the country, even around the world internationally, that we want to identify so that as we're moving through the world, we have places where we can stop for healing, places that we So El Rico left, Kwame Sunhorse was the person who sort of gave birth, I'll say, to the concept of the oasis and the Overground Railroad. And he's been talking about it for years, you know, and it's like, well, when are we going to do something with it? So finally, he sends El Rico, and El Rico will introduce himself, to Alabama. And so that's how we met. And then that's how I met Tanur, through El Rico and a whole bunch of other people as well. So we do feel that this is not by chance. You know, it's not just an accident. It's not coincidental. It is in order. It's in divine order. And your presence is also a part of this vision. So let's welcome El Rico Ramon.
Peace, peace, everyone. How you doing? Please give another round of applause for Tanur Ali for such a great poem. Awesome. Also, another round of applause for Mama Muja for this sacred space. Thank you so much. One question: who likes dandelion greens, and who knows what dandelion greens do in particular? Anybody? You, sir.
I like them.
You like them?
They
You know what they do?
They clean your liver.
Clean your liver, cleanse your liver and your blood. I want you to keep that in mind. I also want you to keep in mind also that dandelion greens in like Whole Foods cost like $2.99, I think $4.99 and right, in some places. So just keep that at the top of your mind. So I met Brother El Hagan through a really good friend of mine named Aaliyah in Philadelphia, and he probably doesn't know this. I actually met him a year prior to meeting him again at this African Locks wasn't a contest, but basically it was like a forum where people just, you know, gather around, vend food, hair, et cetera, et cetera. But I would meet him again through Aaliyah, and she'll bring up this nature walk thing, and I'm like, nature walk, are you serious? What actually is that? I was just like blown away. So I, you know, attend this first nature walk somewhere, some park in Philly, and we go on this nature walk, and he's just pointing out all these things. Nettle, you know, dandelion greens, plantago, blueberries, raspberries, and I'm like, so you're telling me all this time I'm going to the store buying food and I can just walk through the woods and gather my own food? I didn't, so I had to, of course I had to try this out for myself, and El Hagan can contest to this actually. I do another nature walk with him also, but finally I'm on my own, I'm doing my thing in one of the big parks in Philadelphia called Fairmount Park. And I gather all this stuff, plantago, raspberries, blueberries, and I make my own salad from foraging in the woods. And I take a picture and I show it to him, and he's just super hyped, and he's hyped that I'm just so engaged and so just wanting to be a part of these nature walks and just be in alignment with nature and food and how it's just on the floor. I say all that to say that it was just so critical for me to know and learn all these things, because as I would continue to evolve myself in my journey and understanding that a lot of these things, these systems of colonialism, of capitalism, to keep us mentally enslaved and not being able to connect to things that are on a tree that was right next to us. It just didn't make sense. I also want to bring up something else that's really heavy in my spirit and on my mind, something that all of you all are aware of, and this is also really critical in regards to my relationship and my journey with El Hagan and those nature walks, which is that every one of you at this present moment know exactly what's going on right now in the media. You know what's going on. I don't have to say it. I'm not going to predict and do any doomsday things. It's the same thing that's been going on since the beginning of 2020. There's a narrative out there. One of the other reasons why it was so critical and so important to me to do these nature walks, because I was wondering, why are all these things coming my way? You know, I don't believe in coincidences, so what does this mean? Is there a possibility that one day I might not be able to go to the store and shop for food and get water? That was so vital. Do you understand? Nobody can starve. There's no excuses. There's no such thing as starvation. Nobody has to go hungry. The food is everywhere. It's everywhere. Everything that you've learned on these nature walks, apply it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Keep it in mind. Use it in your daily, weekly practices, whether it be cooking, whether it be for medicinal purposes. Next time you have a headache, don't go to the store. Figure out how to go to the woods and get what you need to fix your headache. Okay? That was part of my journey with El Hagan. In addition to that, it was so divine because I would share with him so many personal things that I was trying to do. I wanted to go learn more about nature. I wanted to be a land steward myself. And he would introduce me to the Queen, to Nur Ali, Logic Farms in Utah, Alabama. And he would lead me down there. That's where I would learn so many things about land stewarding and being a student of the land. And then I would reconnect with the energy with Baba Kwame regarding the Overground Railroad, which is how I met the dear divine Mama Muja. All this stuff came around full circle. So all these things that you think happened that you may have thought have happened by choice, maybe it did, maybe it was involuntary. Don't take any of these things for granted. Don't take any of these moments for granted, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Lastly, I like to say and acknowledge the 7 land-based stewards who took part in these nature walks. Get my You can raise your hand or you can stand. I know some individuals are not here. Cheryl Parker and Yahi of Raw Solicious Farm. I'm pretty sure. Okay. So just an acknowledgement to them. You can say Ashe to them also. Ashe. Peace. Mama Yawa, Mahala Farms. We have Mama Josie, founder of Shady Grove Road Blueberry Patch. Ashe. She was here. She might be back soon. Brother Rod and Nanklanka Jones, founders of Greenlight Apiary. Ashe. What's up? What's up? Peace, peace. Of course, the divine Dr. Muja Shakir, founder of Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. Ashe. And also, last but definitely not least, Sister Tanur Ali, founder of iLogic at Solomon's Garden. Ashe, Ashe. And that will conclude my moment.
Georgia is not on my mind. She's on my wrists like the shackles bonding my soul to history, time. She's not mine, and yet possession is involved. And my blood boils with the toils of future wars yet to be fought. And I'm spoiled. Yankee breed in complete shock, See, the culture smothers previous beliefs in freedom, but dreams don't shatter there. They are deferred like quality time, and this time is quality. I pray not for the quantity. See, I don't want to be left here by the hands of history or poverty, which blows on winds like the stench of 40,000 years of misery, all tattooed on the bones of forefathers' feet and displaced, distastefully, like fossils of ancient years tossed there and here by the air that once brought life to them. Spirits and apparitions have given sullen anxiety a permanent place here. We should burn all the trees that, like fruit, bear strange truth and begin to believe in the power of tears. Wash our memories away in this sea of desperation, then spill crude all through it. Destroy traces of our natural complacency. See, Mother Nature is fickle, in that she is vulnerable to free will, but then again, so are we. So what's the purpose, really? I smelt the hurt of whip burns when I turned on my intuition, felt the lighted desires of karma's ignition, got burnt and the sun hurt, kissed the skin and sent melanin cells into atrophy, like physical examples of precognition I heard before you mentioned tourniquet prelude to incision, and my mind got split open. Like the shackles on my wrists just insist on carpal tunnel visions. Wrists hurt, but I gotta write the futures, cause I've lived worse. See, I still have hope. Georgia is on my back, so my shoulder blades, they crack. It may be gross, but mostly it's a ghostly reminder of the finer things. A harrowing tale the angels sing too close to destruction, and it has been revealed to me. Like an iridescent prophetic vision of encroaching horizons when eyes tire of inverted imagery reflecting destiny and timely demise, heartstrings scream, rewind. And I promise you, I ain't never going back there. Won't be no terracotta soldier frozen by the hopes of coming home someday. Stationary in my grief and sedentary, like if visuals of Pompeii play out in the iris of my consciousness and get projected in every action word, dispersed like hurl from the base chakra as a sign of Shiva conceiving Kali. This is why I write. Speaking from the multitude of lights that shine beneath my fingertips when I'm inspired, I am tired of ink and paper. Ink stains and nerdy ink stains on shirt pockets. I took my notebook to the park just before dark to start this thing. A demonstration of beginnings. Georgia is not on my mind. She's on my wrists like the shackles bonding my soul to history. Time. She's not mine. She's unkind and disillusioned, cold, born into confusion because she was forged in the cinders of hatred and lies, finds meaning in the word but won't read between the lines. She used to be so fine, long-legged and supple, cotton hair with the sun's glare, but she put her cotton through the gin and straightened out her follicles, fastened that Bible belt so tight I could fit my shackles round her unnatural waist, have her inhale so deep her collapsed lungs would complement the diamonds on the soles of her feet. Then I'd have her walk 1,000 miles to meet me, way across misery. Or I'd submerge her in the Flint so we could try and strike a balance, have her wade to cool her heels, and then remind her of every indecent incident which made her who she is and makes me who I am. Listen, I can dish, but I can't stay. You'll find me on a midnight train out of here one day, running just for honor's sake, but not till I've seen blue moons over stone mountains. Georgia is not on my mind. She's on my heart. And that's the art of self-discovery.
All right, let's let her have it again. Okay, so while we're working out the technical situation, we thought we'd go ahead and break for some food. Is the food ready, Aisha? Yes, you can get some people to help serve. How many people? Okay, Amaz's going, Leslie's going. I think you're gonna have more than what you need. I should also acknowledge a few people in the audience that we haven't seen for a while. and others that we're very delighted to see. We have a special guest with us, that's Willard. You want to wave your hand? This is a good friend of ours who lives way up north. I think he lives in Connecticut, yeah. Or New Hampshire, yeah. So he's visiting. And also we have a really great announcement to share. There's a couple here that we've been working with for over 10 years with the vision of them moving to Tuskegee. And they have finally made that move. And they are Akiba Kismaira Kareem and her husband, Abubakar Muhammad Kareem. So we're so happy to have them join and help build this vision that we all share. We also have, just all of you, Erica and Scott, and should I go through the list? Timothy and Oscar, Hiawatha, the brother that he lives across the street, and he always says, don't call me and say, oh, I don't mean to bother you, but can you do such and such? He says I should stop saying that. Just whatever I need, just call him, you know? And I tell you, that is just, it makes you continue to do what you're trying to do. Not what you're trying to do, but what you're actually doing when you know that there's support. And we have some of our younger sister friends that are here. I saw Jaslyn Fuller, who was started with us in 2015. She was a member of our board and handled a lot of our marketing and outreach work. And she continues to work with us, now living in Georgia. Aaliyah Sanders with Let's Rebuild Tuskegee in particular, is also active with us these days. Yana Brown, who lives over there near Selma. What's the name of your city? Marion. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And another really special person who doesn't get a chance to get out so much. And so we're really happy to see Papa Amin. Papa Amin Hamid, who is from Detroit. That's my hometown as well. And he returned here. He had come here to Tuskegee, I believe, in the 80s. And he and a whole group with Hiawatha and several other brothers, and they were very busy working with agriculture. And then he returned back to Detroit, and then you've been back here, what, maybe 3 or 4 years? Yeah, we're happy to see you out. So, are there any, while we're waiting, if there's someone that would like to make an announcement about something? I see my friend out here. I'm having one of those moments. Theodore Lush. Yeah, great cultural worker there in Montgomery. A really good friend, the director of our art program here at Nature's Garden for Victory and Peace. He's also the founder of New South Artist Workshops. Let's welcome Odile Palin.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I haven't done this in so long, so I wanted to come by, and share some music for the program, and so that's why I'm here to do that with the guitar, at least. So I'm gonna play some songs, about 2 songs, I guess. It's gonna be enough time for me. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. This is a song we wrote a few years back, maybe about 10 years now. Time very much. Cujo was an African American. Station. Thank you very much.